There's just so much
How's the video coming along?
This one? Yeah, it's going not good.
Yeah, cool. Look, they're doing a remaster of Assassin's Creed 3.
Are they actually? Are you kidding me? I love that game. Oh man, I want to play that again right now actually. That'd be... Oh yeah, no. I've got... You know how much work I've got to be getting done right now? Why would you even suggest that to me? You know, I've been telling you for days how much work I've got to do right now. That's just... Why? Why?
Yeah, cool. Just thought I would let you know, man.
Yep. Thank you.
They're doing a remaster of Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh my god, I love that game. I really should get that. Wait, you know, I do not have time. I've got so many videos here right now. It's not happening. I do not have time to play games right now. Hi, my name is Bailey, and this is why I love... Assassin's Creed 2 is the second entry in Ubisoft's climb some stuff, stab a man, and then run away real fast franchise, and it's the first in the _Gh'O trilogy that stars Florentine nobleman pretty boy turned master assassin _Gh'O da Firenze, which, let's be honest, might be the coolest name of all time. The game takes place in Renaissance Italy between 1459 and 1499, chronicling the first 40 years of Ezio's life, from his birth into a rich banking family all the way through to his one-man assault on the Vatican, where he literally has a one-on-one scrap with the Pope. I mean, yeah, a lot happens. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Assassin's Creed games, there really isn't too much to explain. It really is fundamentally just climb stuff, stab stuff, run stuff, which if run stuff doesn't make sense. Can someone proofread my notes, please? It's a pretty simple formula of learning about a target, executing them, and then getting away scot-free. Things kicked off in the first game with a story of the Assassin's Brotherhood versus the Knights Templar during the Holy Crusades, and while we wouldn't be where we are now without that first game, that first leap of faith, this is one of those cases where, not many of us think the original is best. For most of us, the series peaked with the second game, though there's a lot of love for direct sequel Brotherhood and the tropical pirate take offered in Black Flag. I also give points to Assassin's Creed 3, it's very underappreciated. But yeah, as far as sequels go, they don't get much better than Ezio's first trip around Italy as he tries to unravel a Templar conspiracy in the wake of the wrongful execution of his father and brothers. I believed you, Umberto, and you betrayed me! None of the elements of Assassin's Creed 2 are particularly original, and neither was the stuff present in the first game that carried over. We can thank Prince of Persia for most of it. But Assassin's Creed 2 took all of its ideas, all the things that didn't quite achieve greatness the first time round, and fucking nailed them. Assassin's Creed 2 might be 10 years old, but even all this time later, it's still a masterpiece. Sure, its technology has aged a lot since 2009, but a great game is always a great game. $10 years.
Hey man, you okay? I haven't seen you in like 28 hours.
Huh?
You look like shit.
Oh yeah, well I decided to start replaying Assassin's Creed 2 and I've got to say, it's so good!
Oh yeah? I thought you said you didn't have time to play games.
Well I don't, but the thing is it's just so good!
Yeah, and since when do you drink coffee?
Since right now. Delicious! A lot of the appeal of Assassin's Creed 2 comes from its shift from stoic stick-in-the-mud badass Altair to new protagonist 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬. 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬 is definitely some kind of male power fantasy projection between the athleticism, strength, charm, and wisecracking smoothness, but I really don't think that it's those elements that have made him such a fan favourite. They make him fun, but they don't make us feel. Where Altair was already deep into contract killing by the time we met him, we get to see 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬 grow over the course of the second game from a naive street-brawling womanizer into, well, again, he fights the Pope. It's an incredibly expansive journey, and while it might not be as mature and introspective as, say, Revelations, it's still a journey that keeps us perfectly in step with 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬's growth from boy to man to master assassin. The writers of this game deserve huge props for ensuring that 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬's story was so personal from the start, and that's why his driving force, revenge, is a motivation that's both identifiable and justifiable. Even when 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬's path of vengeance begins to overlap with the wider Templar conspiracy, the writers effectively find a way to switch gears to position 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 as an avatar of justice. It's not a massive leap to go from a personal revenge story into one of a guy fighting tyranny and oppression, especially when it involves the same group of shady ass dudes. Even Desmond Miles, the protagonist of the modern day framing device, is given somewhat of a retool in Assassin's Creed 2 to increase his appeal. And by that, I mean he's almost entirely taken out of the game. Now, I'm actually one of the few players who really gets around the modern day stuff, and I'm just straight up a Desmond fan, more likely than not because he's voiced by Nathan Drake himself, Nolan North. But Assassin's Creed 2 probably made a smart choice by just totally dialing back on the whole Abstergo thing and just letting 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 shine. The introduction of the bleeding effect, a side effect of animus exposure that sees Desmond inherit the abilities of his parkour-savvy ancestors, is a great addition too, as it increases Desmond's agency and creates somewhat of a parallel between his story and 𝐀𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬's. In a way, the bleeding effect is also a metaphor for how the animus and the assassins are changing the way that Desmond sees the world, and that's pretty cool. Now, being an Assassin's Creed game set in Renaissance Italy, the most important thing on anyone's mind should be, does the game make me feel like a Renaissance era assassin? And my answer to that is hell fucking yeah! Few images in gaming are more iconic than that of a lone assassin perched atop a cathedral spire just below the sun, overlooking a gorgeously rendered playground of brick and marble, and Assassin's Creed 2 really makes that playground yours. How the hell does a haystack break that fall? Assassin's Creed 2 had the benefit of releasing just on the right side of game world starting to feel truly alive, and you can see how Ubisoft pushed the realism in as many ways as they could. Quite often, it's the little things that usually go unnoticed that add the most texture to the world, things like the way pigeons take flight if you pass too close to them, or the way chimneys billow actual smoke, to the day and night cycle, an element that we just take for granted now in open world games, all the way to the beautiful sound of feet scampering across terracotta tiles. All these details add up to a world that even now still feels incredibly alive. It's no Witcher 3 or GTA 5, and it's crazy how much things were stepped up by the time Assassin's Creed 3 rolled around in 2012, but I still think that Assassin's Creed 2 might be the first time I remember being truly immersed in an open world game, and it all comes down to incredible design. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Italy before, but it's kind of insane just how accurate the dev team got it, and just how beautiful they made it look. To be honest, synchronizing with viewpoints kind of just feels like a Chad Power move in hindsight for the developers to show off the scope and detail of the game's 5 unique major locations: Florence, Tuscany, Forlì, Venice, and Monteriggioni, the last of which just sounds like pasta to me. I think that collectively we really don't put enough respect on the whole climb anything conceit of these games, because it means that each location has to be designed with fluid movement in mind at all times, while also looking and feeling like a real city in terms of layout. The free-running system is designed to be fluid as opposed to challenging, so that you feel like a parkour pro, and when you really get a good flow going, god damn, it feels incredible, until you somehow find yourself involuntarily jumping sideways into the water below, so thank God this boy can swim. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 understands that a game in which you play as a self-assured, hyper-athletic killing machine with a heart of gold should be a fun experience, so the gameplay always tries to emulate that. Like any good sequel, Assassin's Creed 2 gives you so much more to do this time round. Combat has been drastically expanded with dozens of new weapons and tools, as well as creative new ways to dispatch your adversaries with the gear you already have. Honestly, those 𝐠𝐫𝐞𝐿 counterattacks are way too cool. Where the first game built a huge world but tethered you to 9 pretty straightforward missions, the sequel is just overflowing with a broad range of side activities that make the most of the Italian playground. After all, it's no use building such a detailed world and letting it go to waste on a linear experience, so things like the assassination contracts, races, and those weird-ass gigs where you beat up cheating husbands all try to make the most of the map and let you soak in its artistry. Plus, those side activities reward you with a bit of bank, which you can use to get better stuff to make even more bank with, and so on and so on. One of my favourite additions to Assassin's Creed 2 is that Pastor Town, which is a total shithole when you first arrive, but as your main base of operations, it slowly gets rebuilt as you invest more resources into it, which in turn makes Ezio a much richer dude. There's just a lot of joy for me in seeing how the puddles start to dry up, the tree leaves start to grow back, and colour slowly returns as the town becomes a bustling community once more. MONTERIGGIONI also offers up perhaps my favourite of the game's many new side characters.
It's me, Mario!
Oh god, die. Just as a whole, the cast of supporting characters surrounding Ezio is fantastic, with each of them offering new skills that give the player increased agency within the game, but they also work to expand the way Ezio sees the world. Where once Ezio might have been dismissive or ignorant of people and lifestyles outside his noble family, he now finds himself working alongside thieves, mercenaries, and courtesans, not to mention historical heavyweights such as Leonardo da Vinci and Lorenzo Medici. I feel like it's also worth mentioning, just maybe, that Assassin's Creed 2 might have the greatest soundtrack ever composed for a game. Jesper Kid? More like Jesper, are you kidding me? This score is the best! Honestly, the Ezio's family theme that plays over the game's title reveal makes it one of the most beautifully iconic moments in gaming, and Kid's combo of violins followed by that chilled out guitar and then that voice. Oh god, that voice. Just give me a moment, alright? I'm not crying, you're crying. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about incredible design. You can really feel the passion that bleeds through into every facet of Assassin's Creed 2, and each element from character, story, animation, world design, gameplay, music, it all feels like it exists in perfect harmony, with each component complementing the next and elevating the experience as a whole. It says a lot about the quality of this game that Ubisoft opted to pump out another 2 Ezio-led entries before moving on to the American Revolution in Assassin's Creed 3 with Connor, something that's actually always kind of confused me because they're not numbered even though they continue the story, so like I don't get how that works. Point being, it's not just me that really loved what was done with this game, and the popularity and acclaim of Assassin's Creed 2 seemed to have a bleeding effect into several of Ubisoft's other series after this point, particularly Far Cry, which adopted gameplay ideas like synchronization points in the form of radio towers in Far Cry 3, as well as other stuff like assassination contracts and races, which added up to something pretty spectacular. Still, I think that even 10 years on, Assassin's Creed 2 might actually be Ubisoft's defining game. God, I can't believe it's been 10 years already, what the hell? This is a game that's so beautifully designed from top to bottom and so wonderfully fun to play that I've been able to pick it up again in 2019 and still be wowed by it like I was back in 2009. So much of that comes from the way that all these brilliant slices of creative, colourful design come together, but my replay also afforded me a new perspective on Assassin's Creed 2 that made my love for it so much more than just, this game is good. Assassin's Creed 2 is a story about a young man with a whole lot of very, very justifiable anger who grows up and learns to let go of it. After dedicating his life to revenge and murdering his way across half of Italy, it takes Ezio 20 years to know that enough is enough and that no one else has to die, because no matter how much blood he spills, his family is never coming back. By the end, Ezio is a long way from being the teenage scoundrel we first met on the streets of Florence, and in that, I think Assassin's Creed 2 reveals that it's about something that few games really ever revel in. Change.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
At best, may never change.
And may it never change us.
And also, you get to punch the fucking Pope. I have just finished playing Assassin's Creed 2 and I've got to say, that game is just amazing!
Massive waste of time, right? And you're still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I also was so blocked up working on the video I was working on, it just wasn't happening, so I thought, why not replay the entire game for 3 days straight, so...
You know, you could just do a video on Assassin's Creed 2 then.
Oh my god. You're a genius. Thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for watching this video about a game that I am just totally in love with. I am so close to just booting it back up and starting to play it again right now, but I can't because I've got so many videos on the way. Hopefully, from this point forward, we're going to be aiming to get a video out every 2 to 3 weeks. I am going to be crushing my soul to make it happen, but I have so many things that I love that I want to talk about, that I want to share with you guys, that I've got to make it happen. So if you guys want to be here to see every one of those videos as they drop, be sure to subscribe to this channel down there somewhere. Be sure to follow me on social media to get all the extra updates and stuff that I'm watching and whatever else is going on. Those tags are down there somewhere. You can also support this channel on Patreon. That kind of support is, I don't think you guys understand how much I appreciate it. I would not be able to do this here on YouTube anymore if it was not for that Patreon support. So thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. I offer a bunch of cool rewards on Patreon, including a behind the scenes video of how I made this video. So there is stuff that kind of rewards you for supporting me like that. Be sure to check it out. And I guess I will see you guys in a few weeks. We'll say a few weeks just to be safe with the next video, which I'm sure you guys are gonna love.